あ、その前に東宝のメカゴジラがオーディションだったんです。で、なかなかマフネカツラ役が決まらなかったようで、私は多分最後だと思うんですが、ね、ウルトラマンの隊員服着たまんま、東宝撮影所と円谷で撮ってるところと割と近いんで、隊員服のまんま、そのまま連れてかれてオーディション受けました。
First, what she liked to say is she was in the middle of some shooting for the Leos, alternate Leos, and she had the clothes on that she was wearing during it. And apparently the part in the Toho movie, they had a lot of people come in and try out, but they couldn't decide who they wanted. And she was pretty much the last person that would audition for it. And they said, we need you to come to this. So she wore the clothes from Leo, went straight to Toho, which was really close to Tsuburaya. And she auditioned for it, and she got it. So it may have been part because she was already in the clothes and was ready for it. So.
母言いながら、とりあえず本田監督の前へ行ってご挨拶して、まあよくあれで決まったもんだと。
She was really surprised and a little bit nervous at the same time. She says her heart was beating like this, back and forth, but she had the right clothes on. And she said, "Wow, I can't believe this happened, but it must have been the clothes, and it must have been." But she was able to say her greetings in front of Mr. Honda, and it turned out for the best.
で、東宝、先ほどの円谷さんと東宝の違いといいますか、やはり東宝というのはやっぱり伝統のある撮影会社ですごく格式が高く、やっぱりまるで違いました。で、あ、私は役者になったんだ、女優になったんだって、そこで初めて自分で。
The question was, what is the difference between Toho and Tsuburaya? Toho is legendary in Japan. Working with Tsuburaya was good, but when she finally got this job working for Toho, she realized that she was now an official actress.
And of course, the role she's speaking about is her role that brought us all here, Terra Mechagodzilla, Mecha Gojira no Gyakushu. All right, so let's transition to Mecha Gojira no Gyakushu. And you've talked about how you got cast. And you did mention Mr. Honda, the director, so please share some more of your memories of working with Mr. Honda.
ここへ来る4日前に、本田監督のご自宅に伺って、奥様にご挨拶してまいりました。で、また懐かしく本田先生のお写真とかいろいろ見させていただいて、また改めて感じましたけど、黒沢監督ご存知ですよね。鬼の黒沢、仏の本田と言われるぐらいにとっても優しくて怒らない監督です。
She has very good memories with Mr. Honda, showing pictures of herself and the family pictures from Mr. Honda and his wife, etc., etc. And if you were to compare Mr. Kurosawa to Mr. Honda, she said basically Oni, which means the devil, Kurosawa, and Hotoke, which means Buddha or God. So there's a total difference. He was just very, very kind, and she enjoyed working with him very much. And the staff were the same way as well, so it was all really good experience.
はい、それでその奥様からかなりしつこい演技指導があって、あの人は自分で動いて演技指導するでしょって言われたんですけど、私の場合はほとんど演技指導もなく、ただ難しい役だったので、人間ではない半分ロボットで半分人間でみたいな、そういう役だったので、ここは人間だよ、ここはロボットだよ、そのメリハリだけで、あとはあんまりなんかこう演技指導していただいた覚えがないんですね。
With the wife and with other actors and actresses, he was strict as far as saying this is what you need to do. There's a lot of guidance, etc. out there. But in her case, because she was half human, half android, she was basically, it was very simple. He says, okay, this is where you'll be a human. This is where you'll be an android. And so it's very simple, but she doesn't remember much other guidance other than that. And he pretty much let her do what she wanted to do other than those two things.
今までのゴジラ映画とは全く作風が違う。ある意味ゴジラ映画でもロミオとジュリエットみたいなものだからって。
Up to that point, it was different than the other Godzilla movies. It's kind of like a Romeo and Juliet type of Godzilla movie, so it's different from the movies up to that point.
Well, that is a very good question to talk about the cyborg aspect of your part. How did you approach that, and did you do any sort of preparation? What was your approach?
特別な役作りといいますか、大体ご覧の通り私ね、いつもニコニコニコでスマイルスマイルスマイルところが、まず一切笑うところがない、笑ってはいけない、笑ってはいけないっていうのが一番です。
She really loves to smile, and she's always very bubbly, and so the hardest thing for her was not being able to smile during the cyborg part of her. And so that was the hardest thing of the whole thing, but that's basically what she did, try not to smile. But it was the hardest thing, but somehow she was able to do it.
And do it very well, I might add.
And do it very well, by the way.
Well, we can't talk about Katsura Mafuni without speaking about the father. So her father, of course, was played by Mr. Akihiko Hirata, very legendary, famous actor in Japan. So please talk about working with Mr. Hirata on the film.
平田さんは、他の役者さんとはあまり現場でお話しした記憶がなくて、平田明彦さんだけが、いろいろ私に構ってくださって、で1回だけ会議のお食事に連れてってくださったりとか、女優とはこういうもんだからこれからね頑張りなさいっていう話にしてくださいました。あとメイクが平田さんがメイクがすごかったので、こうヒゲとかもつけてメイクがで、君も笑えないけど僕も笑えないんだよって。
She remembers a lot of working mostly with Mr. Hirata. Working with other actresses and actresses, there was not much communication between them, but she did often talk to him, and he did take her out to eat one time. And what they basically talked about is, well, you don't get a smile either, but he had a lot of makeup on and beards and all kinds of stuff. He says, I don't get a smile either, so we're in the same boat. But he remembers him taking her out one time to eat, and it was a very good memory of that time together.
Very good, wonderful. All right, so another one of her co-stars who is joining us this weekend is Mr. Sasaki, Katsuhiko Sasaki. So please talk about being the Juliet to his Romeo in Mecha no Gyakushu.
佐々木さんは、ここへ来る前、東京の成田の空港で40年ぶりにお会いしまして、で、あれなんですけど、いないから言いますけど、当時は一言も口聞いてくださいませんでした。
She said that they met at the Narita airport to come here in Tokyo. It was a 40-year reunion. As in 40 years, and they were able to talk together at Narita, but he's not here now. So 40 years ago, he wouldn't listen to anything I had to say.
なんで口聞いてくれなかったんですかってお伺いしたら、そういえば喋ってませんでしたねって喋った覚えありませんでしたねって。
So he says, she asked, he said, why wouldn't you talk to me? And I said, well, because there was really nothing to talk about at that time. When they met in Narita, 40 years they did. In my case, he was in Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah as well, and I haven't seen him for 20 years, so it's kind of interesting to see him.
But you did meet him in Hawaii in 1993, correct?
Oh yeah, that's right. I had an elevator. I remember. Yeah, never mind.
Anyway, all right. So there are many locations for Mecha no Gyakushu. So please talk about going on location to shoot some of the scenes away from the Toho set.
一番覚えているのは、海で私がロングのカツラをつけてグリーンのドレスを着て海をずっと見てるシーンがあるんです。で、今のように CG ではないので目がグリーンに光る、あれがものすごいレフト、もうずっと目開けてなきゃいけなくて、あれがものすごい辛かったので。
Well, one of the locations was near the ocean, and there's a scene where she has a long wig on, and her eyes turn green and they're going like this. And in the day when there was no CGI and no special effects, she had to keep her eyes open the whole time. And that was probably one of the hardest things for her to do, not being able to blink. Keep your eyes open, keep your eyes open, keep your eyes open. So that was one of the hardest things for that scene.
Wow, can't smile, can't blink, can't do anything. That's
Yes.
あとは横浜というところによくロケに行きます。
There are a lot of locations located in the Yokohama, which is about 30 minutes away from Tokyo.
I see. Very good. All right. So, do you have any other memories? Do you have any other memories you would like to share from making Meikagoji?
あとよくその時はあんまり分からなかったんですけど、なんだか分かんないけど衣装替えが多くて衣装がすごく多かったんですね。はいはい。で、衣装も衣装スタッフさんと一緒に渋谷の西武というところに2人で買いに行きまして、好きなのを選ばせていただいて、あ、やっぱりなんかすごいんだなと思って、好きなのでやりなさいっていうので好きな衣装をたくさん選ばせていただいて。まだ私も若くて全然そういうの初めてだったんで、あ、映画ってすごい楽しいんだと思いました。
She said more than any scene that it was hard for her to do. The best thing about the whole thing, and she didn't realize it at the time, was that she got to select a lot of the clothing that she got to put on. And being a woman, liking to buy things, she says, "Wow, there's nothing better in the world than a movie." She would go with the staff, and then you go to a place called Seibu, which is a department store in Japan, and says, "Pick out anything you want." And she, "Wow!"
Very good. Well, a lot of the people here don't know much about your career following Meikagoji no Gyakushu, so obviously that's covering a lot of ground. Could you just give us a brief summary of what you did following the film, just to let everyone know?
それからは、こんなこと言っていいんだかわからないんですが、東宝預かりという形だったんですが、なんか約束してた話と違うみたいで、うちの事務所が怒って私を東映の方へ連れてきまして、はい、で東映の方でまた映画を撮ったりとか、テレビのレギュラーとかやってました。で、私ずっと機械体操をやってたので、アクションになるということで、割とそのアクション女優みたいな形でやってました。
There was the promise for the deal between her agency and Toho was that she would belong to Toho basically, and they give her lots of work. She ended up not getting lots of work, so she went to another place called Toei, which is another movie studio there in Japan. And because she was originally a gymnast, she was able to move around really, very flexible. She got a lot of these action type of parts in TV and movies as well. So she got rid of Toho. Her agency got really upset, so she left Toho and went to Toei and did a lot of action in TV and movies after that.
Thank you very much. Okay, so at this point, let's open it up to the audience. So if you have any questions,